What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday, July 30th edition of the Vover Wrestling Show. Ben Cruz here with my tag team partner, who took a little hiatus last week, but he is back. Kenny Herzog. Kenny, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. There's nothing as low as a hiatus, but I am glad.
It's great to have you back. Always look forward to our Friday chats about the wrestling and the wrestling universe out there. Definitely wanted to pick your brain on this latest report out of the AEW camp that Adam Hangman Page will no longer be Kenny Omega's planned opponent for All Out, and what looks like it's going to be a Daniel Bryan or a little CM Punk kind of slotted in there to take on Omega for the title. I just wanted your thoughts initially when you kind of heard this, and it's very much a report, so take that with a grain of salt as always. But what are your initial thoughts upon hearing this report that Page is out and potentially Bryan and Punk are in?
I was going to say, you said it was out of the AEW camp, where it's really out of the Dave Meltzer.
Yes,
Dave Meltzer den, and it has since been picked up on by Fightful and the like, so maybe they've looked into it and seen that there's some credibility to it. I believe we're just speculating and saying that maybe it'll wind up being someone like a CM Punk or Daniel Bryan slotted in, and there's certainly enough time between now and the event to build a program, for that, and you don't have to do much to make really you really honestly just plug and play in that situation. It's not confirmed, so there's that. I wouldn't deign to speculate on whether they've somehow lost faith and whether Hangman can sell the main event for that show. I wouldn't, or carry the main event for that show. I'd say it would certainly be reasonable to it would be easy to see where they might think it would make more sense to have make a big splash with one of these rumored major signings. I, of course, am going to continue to be the guy who says until it's actually confirmed, it's just a rumor. So that's where I stand with Bryan and Punk in the first place. It's where I stand with the Page news. Hangman has grown on me because he does have a certain doggedness that has an appeal, both in and out of character. So I would be a nice sort of full circle bit of storytelling for him and Omega, but beyond that, it's anyone's guess.
Yeah, I mean, whether the report is true or not, it's still a bummer that for Page, from that perspective, where, I mean, this could have been a massive, massive moment for him. I mean, Omega is who he is. He's massive in the wrestling world, but this could have been Page's kind of mainstream moment, I guess, if you will. And like, to your point, it makes sense, all the sense in the world, if Bryan and Punk are on their way to at least slot one of them in there, because, I mean, it's in Chicago, it's All Out. The crowd is going to be insane, but I can't help but feel bad for Page, just because, again, he was in the first championship match with Chris Jericho, right? Like, there was part of me that thought he was going to win that match. And it just seems like another start and stop here with him. So just a little bit bummed, I guess. And maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age and and feeling bad for these these scripted outing or happenings here in wrestling.
If it's true, and as you said, stops and starts. There's such a long the history, the arc of history, is long, and I just look no further than the fact that Bobby Lashley is currently the face of Monday Night Raw and the Universal Champion at the age of nearly 50, for further proof of that. And look at Nikki Cross, suddenly the face of the women's division on SmackDown, is further proof of that. And it's interesting, AEW has not been around that long. Can it prove to be able to do what WWE obviously knows how to do very well, which is have these kinds of, ebbs and flows, that sort of thread throughout a wrestler's career, and continue to kind of just have them simmer and then have them come to a boil again. We shall see.
We shall see. One thing I wanted to touch on as well before we hop out of here was just Impact in general. You made a great point to me before we started recording, in that they've kind of been the secret big winners, if you will, of this kind of door that's been opened between AEW and Impact. And I think it does get kind of swept under the rug a little bit and doesn't get talked about enough. So wanted your thoughts on just how long can they continue this? Because I think initially when it did start up, we thought there was a finite amount of time that it would happen. And I don't know. It just seems like it can go on for forever. Like there's no end in sight.
I gotta say, I think I'm starting to get the same feeling. I was feeling it when I was watching Impact last night. And the reason I mentioned that to you, and by the way, I'm sorry if I cut you off when we were talking about Adam Page, but those niceties aside, I was remarking to you that, look, at one point I'm watching Jay White and Carl Anderson compete in the ring in a tag team match. And that's not sort of like that's not something that is just rehashing from past glories. I mean, that's still there's still a context to that is fresh and current and hot in the wrestling world, and it's happening on Impact. And you're starting to see like, oh, there might, I don't know who I'm going to see from week to week on Impact. Yeah. And you thought maybe, you'd see these little kind of almost Easter egg cameos from Finn Juice and people like that. But, now they've really raised the stakes with the emergence of Jay White, just as, the teasing of Tanahashi appearing in AEW is really kind of opening some eyes. And I think you're right. I think maybe this is just the way wrestling is now. Maybe this is the way of kind of reclaiming what was lost when the territories were consolidated, and kind of unraveling that a bit. And you can credit whoever you want for that. This, ultimately this collective of mid to major promoters. And you wonder if one day, is someone like a Court Bauer of MLW going to be, welcome into this, or does he want to be, to be a part of that club, or any, or the NWA, which is, well, the NWA is basically part of it. It's taken over. It's the Delta variant of wrestling and diagramming.
There you go. That's a hell of a comparison right there. I like it. But real quick, as I'm thinking this through, and you're talking about just all the possibilities, I mean, if you had to at some point pick, just yes or no, does WWE ever open that door ever to anyone else, or are they just a closed, their own universe, as they put it?
They do refer to their fans as the WWE universe, don't they?
They do, yeah.
I think WWE is more interested in continuing to create and expand a global footprint of their brand, much more so interested in that than they are necessarily playing in like the sort of just larger wrestling sandbox or interpromotional sandbox. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. I just wanted to see if I wanted to pick your brain on that subject. Kenny, as always, so much fun on the Friday edition of the Vover Wrestling Show. Thanks as always for hopping on, and we'll talk again next week.
All right, get vaccinated.
Please.
Not you, everyone.
Please and thank you. Bye.
Bye.